Let me start by being honest. The filibuster has frustrated me deeply. There are times, especially during the fight for real healthcare reform, when it felt like progress in this country was being held hostage. Millions of Americans could have better access to healthcare, yet one man, Mitch McConnell, used the filibuster like a hammer to block it. It wasn't debate, it wasn't deliberation, it was obstruction for obstruction's sake. And like you, like me, care about results for our country. And you know how maddening that can be. And now, adding insult to frustration, Donald Trump has recently suggested Republicans to get rid of the filibuster entirely. At first, part of me was like, well, finally we can smash through this thing that's been holding us back. But then I thought, no, this is a terrible idea. Removing the filibuster entirely is like saying, let's get rid of traffic lights because someone ran a red one last week. Sure, it's frustrating in the moment, but the solution isn't to throw out the system that's been keeping us safe, deliberative, and accountable. Because here's the truth, the filibuster is bigger than any party, bigger than any one leader, bigger than a single political frustration. It's an institution designed to protect democracy from the tyranny of the majority. And that's exactly why, even when it's maddening, it deserves careful consideration, not a wrecking ball. Let's take a step back and look through history. The filibuster, originally hard, invisible, and demanding, senators had to stand and speak sometimes for days to block legislation. Strom Thurmond spoke for 24 hours and 18 minutes against the Civil Rights Act of 1957. That was a filibuster. It's not a quiet threat you can make behind a desk. It required stamina, dedication, and accountability. You couldn't just file a motion and just walk away. You had to work, literally and publicly. Over time, however, the rules changed. Today, the filibuster is just a magic 60 vote threshold. You don't even have to speak. You don't even have to argue. You just need enough senators to threaten procedural roadblock. And that's when the abuse creeps in. Both parties have weaponized it. Mitch McConnell used it to block healthcare reform. Democrats have used it to slow judicial appointments, and the results? A Senate that often functions as a chamber of obstruction rather than deliberation. That is what we should reform, not abolish. Now, I know some will say just get rid of it, make it easy for the majority to pass legislation, but here's where I would implore you to think carefully. The filibuster exists for a reason, to protect the minority. Even if you agree with the majority, even if the bill is something you support politically, but imagine a future where the roles are reversed. Today's majority will eventually become tomorrow's minority, and the legislation you care about could be steamrolled without any pause. Power always changes hands. The filibuster is a safeguard. It functions as a pause button on raw power, and a reminder that democracy is meant to be deliberative, not impulsive. Credit where credit is due. Even in a Congress that often bends to Trump's will, the leaders have shown a rare moment of independence. Speaker Mike Johnson of the House said, "It's not my call. It's a Senate issue." That might not sound like fireworks, but it is significant. In a party that often is willing to follow Trump unquestionably, Johnson is recognizing the dangers of abolishing the filibuster. This is the kind of caution and prudence that shows leadership is thinking beyond short-term political gains. That deserves some acknowledgement. So what do? We reform it. We bring back a talking filibuster. Make the obstructionist party visible again. Force senators to actually stand and speak and block legislation, like they used to. Make abuse harder, but preserve the principle. Minority protections, deliberation, and compromise, except in urgent legislations when necessary. But make sure that ordinary bills can't just be blocked silently and indefinitely. Restore the filibuster the way it was intended, to ensure legislation isn't rushed through, that real debate matters, and the majority can't go unchecked. Yes, the filibuster has been abused. McConnell used it to block real healthcare reform, stop progress that would have helped millions of Americans. Other leaders have weaponized it for partisan gain. But the answer isn't destruction, it's restoration. We can still correct the abuses while maintaining the protection that makes the Senate unique. And here's the lesson worth remembering. Frustration does not always mean failure. The Senate is designed to slow down legislation, to test the patience of lawmakers, and to force compromise. When we feel frustration, whether it's during healthcare debates, budget negotiations, or judicial battles, it's a sign the system is working as intended. It forces deliberation, prevents rush decisions, and reminds us that governing is hard, not a sprint.